All right, it is 7 o'clock on Thursday, April 9th. This is the regular city council meeting for the city of Alburnett, and we will call this meeting to order. If you please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Brings us to a roll call. Counselor Trum, Counselor Bosenberg,
Present.
Counselor Sukup,
Present.
Counselor West,
Present.
Counselor Myers.
Present.
We do have a quorum to conduct business tonight. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda? Moved by Myers. Do I have a second? Second by Bosenberg. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. That brings us to our sheriff's report.
Good evening, I'm Deputy Pease. This report 312 through 49. Town hours completed 43 hours, 19 calls for service. Like Cook Franks and nothing really jumps out. Any questions, comments, concerns on the report or anything to pass along the patrol division?
Nope. Appreciate it.
All right.
Have a safe night. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, that brings us to the public hearing for the FY27 proposed budget. Do I have a motion to open the public hearing?
So moved.
Moved by Sukup. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Trum. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. The public hearing is open at 7:02 PM. Mac, do you know if we got any written comments?
I know.
We do have proof of publication that is in your packet. It was also posted around town and on the city's Facebook page. So just a quick overview of the proposed budget. So total revenues for FY27 will be $1,145,776. That is an increase from the estimated FY26, which is at $1,103,127. So a slight increase there. As for expenditures, total expenditures are estimated at $1,682,365. That is an increase for estimated FY26 of $1,350,916. A lot of that is due to capital projects that we have going this year. So that includes our park comprehensive plan and a few other things that we are very excited about. So that gives us an ending fund balance of $706,762. And as we discussed in the public hearing for the property tax levy, this does also represent a slight reduction in property taxes. So no increase other than in valuations that gains us the additional revenue. Any questions or comments from council on the proposed FY27 budget? Hearing none, I would seek a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Moved by Bosenberg. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Myers. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Public hearing is closed at 7:04 PM. All right. That brings us to citizen comments. Here in the city of Alburnett, we have two types of comments, those for agenda-related items and non-agenda-related items. We do ask you state your name and address clearly for the record and limit comments to 5 minutes. Do we have any citizen comments on agenda-related items? Hearing none on non-agenda-related items. All right. Brings us into our business. Item A, review the FY25 audit findings. So that report starts on page 4 of your packet. The actual findings start on page 11. Really nothing in here that we're super surprised about. Segregation of duties is going to get us every time. We have 2.5 employees, so there's only so much you can segregate. And that is that is called out in her recommendation as well. Utility billings. I do believe this practice of having the delinquent accounts reconciled and listed started in FY 26. So you have been seeing this. You have to remember the audit is for FY 25. So this is something that Vicky's been including on her clerk's report. So I'll validate with her. Finding numbers, letter C, requiring the publication of minutes. There was one instance where it was possible the minutes were not published within the 15-day requirement. They were published, they just missed the 15-day window, and they were not signed. That is now a regular practice. In early FY 25, we weren't aware that they had to be signed. So that is something that we have instituted. There are a few on here that Vicky and I are going to work through. So item D is one of those, the bank reconciliations being reviewed by an independent person or a city official. So she's going to work up a policy for that. We'll come to council for approval. So that's a practice we will start doing. Item E, that one may have caught your attention, that our disbursements exceeded the budgeted amount without a budget amendment. We dug into this one a little bit further. What we attribute this to is the auditor used the annual financial report when looking at these numbers. There may have been a typo on the annual financial report. So our budget wasn't actually exceeded, but we also didn't catch it and catch the error in the annual financial report. So we think that's it. We'll make sure we keep a close eye on that going forward. So that one we did dig into a little bit more on that particular finding. Item F, Vicky is working with the bank to ensure that we can get picture images of the backs of all of the canceled checks. Currently, we only get the fronts. So that is something she has been corresponding with Farmer State Bank for that. We will work on a credit card policy. Again, that will come in front of council. So that's something we can action. Local option sales tax. As you can see, we are using our local option sales tax appropriately. While our levy says that 50% is to be used for property tax relief and 50% for infrastructure. The property tax relief we've been doing through using our local option sales tax to make payments to our GO bonds, our general obligation payments. We didn't quite hit the 50% on that last year. So it left $2,499 short of the 50%. And so what we will put in place a way to track that and make sure it carries over into the general fund or whatever that might be. So again, local option sales tax is not a static amount, whereas our GO payments are. And so that's something we will keep an eye on. But just know as a finding of not dispersing it correctly, it was pretty darn close. Journal entry approval, I will work with Vicky on that one again to have those reviewed by an independent person. Right now, clerk books does help oftentimes with that, but we don't have anything formal, so we'll work on formalizing that as well as the accounting policies and procedures. So overall, I'm not going to count them really quickly. There's maybe a dozen findings. We are able to remediate the majority of those. So still in a good place. Any questions on the FY 25 audit findings? All right. No council action on those. Those have already been submitted to the state, so we just bring it here for transparency and awareness. Next item is resolution 04-2026-01, approval of the City of Alburnett budget for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2027. So again, we just had our public hearing. I will go ahead and read this resolution, whereas the Code of Iowa, Chapter 384, Section 16 requires that all cities prepare and adopt an annual budget and certify taxes. Whereas the City of Alburnett held a public hearing on April 9th, 2026 to receive comment on the annual budget for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2027. Whereas the budget includes total revenues and transfers in the amount of $1,145,776 and total expenditures and transfers out in the amount of $1,769,065 and a property tax rate of $12.30. Whereas there were no comments received either orally or by written correspondence for or against the proposed budget. Now therefore it be resolved by the City Council of the City of Alburnett, Iowa approves the adoption of budget and certification of city taxes for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2027, and submittal of same to the Lynn County Auditor and the State of Iowa. Do I have a motion to approve resolution 04-2026-01? Moved by Myers. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Sukup. Any further discussion? Roll call vote. Counselor Myers.
Aye.
Counselor West.
Aye.
Counselor Sukup.
Aye.
Counselor Bosenberg.
Yay.
Counselor Trum.
Aye.
That motion passes. All right, that brings us to page 16, resolution 04-2026-02, approving siding improvements to attached garage bays at City Hall. So this is something we discussed. We did not originally extend the siding across the entirety of City Hall. We weren't sure what we were gonna do with those bays, if we would replace the garage doors with a storefront or anything like that. We have decided that it is in the best interest of the city to retain that as storage. We put new garage doors on from an efficiency standpoint, and so now we did budget in FY26, so in the current budget year, to finish the outside facade. So we did receive a quote from the original contractor, Garmin Built, that did the City Hall renovation in order to finish that work. Any questions, comments before I read the resolution? All right. They will continue the same color scheme, so they'll still have the wood grain on the bottom and then the darker color on the top. Fill all the holes where the Hornets likes to hide, so that'll be nice. All right, resolution 04-2026-02, approving siding improvements to attached garage bays at City Hall, whereas the City of Alburnett completed remodeling improvements to City Hall in 2023, including exterior updates, whereas the attached garage bays at City Hall currently do not match the finished exterior facade of the main building, whereas the City Council desires to extend siding improvements to the attached garage bays in order to create a cohesive and uniform exterior appearance. Whereas the city intends to utilize the same contractor who completed the City Hall remodeling project to ensure consistency in materials, workmanship, and design. Now therefore, be resolved by the City Council of the City of Alburnett, Iowa, does hereby approve Garmin Built to complete the siding improvements to the attached garage bays at City Hall in the amount not to exceed $11,870, subject to further direction by the City Council and authorization to proceed by Alburnett Public Works Director. Do I have a motion to approve resolution 04-2026-02? Motion by Trum. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Bosenberg. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. All right, resolution 04-2026-03, approving the purchase and installation of flow meters for wells number 1 and number 3. This resolution's on page 18 of your packet. Mac, would you like to give any background?
Not really. The closest I worked with Northway originally to try to find similar models. They weren't able to find anything that wouldn't require major modifications. This Central States group was able to find 2 models that would fit. One were 10 to 12 weeks out lead time, and this model that we're seeking approval was only 1 to 2 weeks out. So it was, that being said, we're wanting to go that route.
Both meters have failed. They are both, what, 20 years old?
2010, both of them are.
Okay, so 16 years old. So basically obsolete.
Yeah, there's not much servicing left to them, and yeah, neither one of them are recording our gallons pumped every day. They're stuck at 2 gallons per minute. For whatever reason, both of them are.
No matter what.
Any questions for Mac? Northway has worked with the Central States group as well, so they are reputable in the industry. Yeah, there's some technical documentation in there on the flow meters. If you wanted to geek out, feel free. I almost left it out, but I was like, well, that's good information. All right, so we got resolution 04-2026-03 approving the purchase and installation of flow meters for wells number 1 and number 3. Whereas the city of Alburnett owns and operates municipal water wells identified as well number 1 and well number 3. Whereas the existing flow meters for these wells are outdated and no longer function properly, resulting in unreliable and or unavailable flow measurement data. Whereas accurate flow measurement is necessary for system monitoring, regulatory compliance, and effective operation of the city's water utility. Whereas the city desires to replace the existing flow meters with updated equipment to ensure accurate and reliable measurement of water production. Whereas Central States Group has been identified to provide the necessary equipment and or installation services. Now therefore be resolved by the City Council of the City of Alburnett, Iowa does hereby approve the purchase and installation of flow meters for well number 1 and well number 3 from Central States Group in the amount not to exceed $16,697.09, subject to further direction by the City Council and authorization to proceed by Alburnett Public Works Director. We have a motion to approve resolution 04-2026-03.
So moved.
Moved by Sukup. Do I have a second?
Second.
By West. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That motion carries. All right. Brings us to, gotta scroll. Page 32. This is resolution 04-2026-04 approving participation in the Lynn County 911 Service Board. I am responding subscription agreement. Chief West had a little bit of this in his report, but we were made aware that due to decreasing revenues and increasing expenses, the 911 Service Board is looking at ways to pass down some expenses. They have historically paid for the entirety of the I am responding contract. So they have decided to charge that back to the participating entities. They are still going to hold the contract so that it's under one umbrella. One group has to pay for it. You get better pricing that way because they're going to pull everybody together. Then they will just bill us similar to how they bill us for like our service hours through the actual sheriff's office. So the total for Alburnett on an annual basis is $458.75. So while it may not be something we necessarily prepared for in the budget this year, I would imagine we've got that much wiggle room. So I'm not concerned about impacting FY27, and then we can prepare for it going forward. So any questions before I read the resolution? All right. Resolution 04-2026-04 approving participation in the Lynn County 911 Service Board. I'm responding subscription agreement, whereas the City of Alburnett participates in emergency response coordination services provided through the Lynn County 911 Service Board, whereas the Lynn County 911 Service Board has notified participating agencies that it will no longer fund agency subscriptions to the I am responding first responder alerting service due to increasing expenditures and decreasing revenues. Whereas effective June 1st, 2026, the cost of the I am responding service will be the responsibility of each participating agency utilizing the program. Whereas the proposed group subscription is a 5-year agreement with an estimated annual cost of $458.75 per participating agency. Whereas the City Council finds that continued participation in the I am responding service supports effective emergency response communication and coordination. Now therefore it be resolved by the City Council of the City of Alburnett, Iowa, that the city approves participation in the Lynn County 911 Service Board I am responding group subscription agreement effective June 1st, 2026, and authorizes the mayor and city clerk to execute the agreement and associated documents, and further approves payment of associated costs as billed beginning July 1st, 2026. Motion to approve resolution 04-2026-04.
So moved.
I've got a motion by Myers. Do I have a second by Bosenberg?
Yeah.
Second by Bosenberg. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Resolution 04-2026-05 approving the replacement of the transfer switch for the backup generator at the main lift station. This you will find starting on page 38. Mac, do you want to give them any background on this one?
I discovered this Saturday when I came in to do water chores that the generator was running while we still had power and had a line verify that there wasn't a power outage, and then they did. After we had an electrician look at the transfer switch, and the control panel inside of it was actually burnt up black, so it's, you know, it's almost 20 years old. It was gonna cost more to find a new control board than it would be to just swap the switch. So the generator would not, we'd actually cut the wires to the switch to get the generator shut off.
Any questions? All right, resolution 04-2026-05. Whereas the city of Alburnett owns and operates a sanitary sewer system, including a main lift station equipped with a backup generator, whereas the existing transfer switch for the backup generator is no longer functioning reliably and may prevent proper automatic operation during power outages. Whereas a properly functioning transfer switch is critical to ensure uninterrupted operation of the lift station and to prevent sanitary sewer overflows. Whereas the city desires to replace the existing transfer switch to maintain system reliability and regulatory compliance. And whereas Hawkeye Electric has been identified to provide the necessary equipment and or installation services, now therefore be resolved by the City Council of the City of Alburnett, Iowa, does hereby approve the replacement of the transfer switch for the backup generator at the main lift station with Hawkeye Electric in an amount not to exceed $6,230.23, subject to further direction by the City Council and authorization to proceed by Public Works Director. Motion to approve resolution 04-2026-05. Moved by West. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Myers. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That motion carries. All right. Resolution 04-2026-06, approving the repair of the 2011 Ford F-550. So, Mac, you want to give us a little background on what's going on there?
Promise, I'm not trying to break things.
I've also noticed a trend, everything's 20 years old, so.
So the generator was Saturday morning, Sunday morning, I came in on Easter to do chores and found a puddle of coolant underneath the truck and hydraulic oil leaking. I knew about the hydraulic oil, I was gonna get serviced, but yeah, there was leaking coolant. Out the overflow, I had Iowa Diesel Repair look at it, the secondary cooler inside has failed, so it's putting exhaust gas into the system and causing it to bubble out to the overfill.
Any questions? All right, resolution 04-2026-06, whereas the city of Alburnett owns and operates a 2011 Ford F-550 utilized for municipal and public works operations, whereas the vehicle has developed mechanical issues requiring repair to maintain safe and reliable operation, whereas the city of Alburnett has historically partnered with Iowa Diesel Repair for the maintenance and services of the city's vehicles, whereas Iowa Diesel Repair has consistently provided reliable and high-quality service. And whereas Iowa Diesel Repair has identified the need for repairs on the Ford F-550, providing an estimate for the following services. So all of these are in the same quote, but he had them itemized, so I itemized them out. Repair the secondary cooling system leak for $4,545.70. Sorry, I missed a decimal there. Repair the hydraulic leak on the PTO for $1,027.50, and then miscellaneous fees for things like oil, so for $40. Total is $5,613.20. Whereas the City Council of Alburnett, Iowa has reviewed the submitted estimate and finds it in the best interest of the city to authorize repair work as deemed appropriate. Now therefore be resolved by the City Council of the City of Alburnett, Iowa does hereby approve the repair of the 2011 Ford F-550 with Iowa Diesel Repair in an amount not to exceed. Feel free to fill in the blank in case there are any repairs you don't want to make. Subject to further direction by City Council and authorization to proceed by Alburnett Public Works Director. Do I have a motion to approve resolution 04-2026-06 in the amount not to exceed $5,613.20?
So moved.
Moved by Trum. Do I have a second? Second by Sukup. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Alright, now TJ broke something. So,
Before we go any, what's an air dryer anyway?
he's about to tell us.
Pretty much it's where the air collects for the air brake system. And then it also drains out, that's when you hear like trucks spit the air out.
Just get rid of condensation?
Yeah, it gets rid of condensation and everything and it's stuck open. So we can't move the truck at all. So
Very important.
it's kind of important.
Oh, I forgot to read our agenda item. This is resolution 04-2026-07 approving fire apparatus repair estimate.
I'm just glad it's not a typo for hair dryer.
Yeah, it's that's about the size of a 5-gallon drum. So it's a large piece of equipment for it, but yeah, luckily we found it the day before Easter and then I had James come out and look at it that Monday, and then that's when he got me the quote, so.
So is he gonna fix it there at the shop?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, we tried even pulling it forward, and we couldn't even do that. It would get up to pressure, and then as soon as it would start to get to pressure, it'd just lose it all. So,
All right, this is resolution 04-2026-07 approving fire apparatus repair estimate, whereas the Alburnett Otter Creek Fire Department has historically partnered with Swoboda Equipment Repair LLC for the maintenance and service of the department's apparatus. Whereas Swoboda Equipment Repair has consistently provided reliable and high-quality service to ensure safe and reliable operation. Whereas Swoboda Equipment Repair has identified the need for maintenance and repairs on engine number 135, providing estimates for the following services: air dryer replacement in the amount of $551.99. Whereas the City Council of Alburnett, Iowa has reviewed the submitted estimate and finds it in the best interest of the city and fire department to authorize repair work as deemed appropriate. Now therefore it be resolved by the City Council of the City of Alburnett, Iowa, that the above listed repair estimate is hereby presented by Swoboda Equipment Repair for council consideration. The City Council authorizes approval of estimate number 32 not to exceed the amount of $551.99. The mayor and or city clerk are authorized to execute any necessary agreements and payments consistent with the council's approval, and all repairs will be completed upon receipt of permission and direction to proceed by Alburnett Otter Creek Fire Chief. Motion to approve resolution 04-2026-07.
So move.
Moved by Bosenberg. Do I have a second? Second by Trum. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. All right, I'm done reading now. That's all our resolutions. We've got a couple of quotes on here just for y'all's memory. The reason that some of these can be quotes is because they don't require a service contract. We're just making a purchase, and it is below the $10,000 threshold, as is council's policy. So if you're wondering why some of those are mixed with resolution versus just being a quote, it's based on who's doing the work is the primary thing. So first one on there is a quote for trench sediment boxes for the fire station. This is from Plum Supply. It's on page 44 of your packet. Chief, if you want to give us a little background on what we're looking at here too.
the system that we have is in floor drainage. So we can power wash the floors, trucks inside, all that. What happens is into the middle of both trenches, we have one on the north side, it's about 8 feet long, and then the one on the south side that goes the whole length of the bays. When they installed it, they put in solid steel boxes. So the sediment would go into it, but the water would just keep building up, and then it'd overflow. And then it would take a couple hours for it to drain. Thanks for Mag for helping us figure this out. So I called around, tried to get some information from Duratrench, who is the manufacturer that we went with. And the only thing that they have available that would fit that and make it work properly, catch the sediment and let the water run out, is what is in the quote. Actually on page 45 is what it looks like. I got a print off if you want to look at it. But I did reach out to Marion Iron to see if they could make something similar, and the only thing they could do was make a box with like a hole in the side with mesh around that hole. We weren't sure if that would work that well or not. It was significantly cheaper, but I don't know how well it would work being not what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, bottleneck just as bad as what
Yeah.
it does now, yeah.
So, that's why I'm going with this, suggestion to go through with it. It'll drop right in where we have it already, and both boxes were, what, a quarter full? I think, sediment.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it took 5 years for it to get through the box and rust it through and fill it a quarter of the way full, but now we'll be able to pull it out, clean it out.
Were those just the iron boxes or were they stainless like that?
They were just steel.
This will last a long time.
Yeah, these can last long.
This is stainless, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah,
I believe.
You'll never rust out.
Yeah, 18 stainless steel.
okay.
So it should catch all the large debris, a lot of small debris. And not allow it to go out into the water system. And I did see they had tax on here. I haven't heard back from them yet on the quote to take the tax off of it. So it'll be a little less than what the quote is.
Well, the quote doesn't factor in the
Yeah,
$200 for freight, so we take the tax off, but add the freight.
At the very, we're still close
Ends
to what
up
it was.
like 2,100 or so.
So this should fix the system. I talked to the contact at Plum Supply. He said this should be what should have been installed the first time around.
Mhm.
But this is something, you basically tell me, you guys can drop it in and
Yep.
that's it.
Yep,
It's like a sluice.
yeah.
There's no further questions. I would seek a motion to approve the quote for trench sediment boxes for the fire station from Plum Supply in the amount of $1,930 plus $200 for freight.
So moved.
Moved by Sukup. Do I have a second?
Alright.
Second by Trum. Any further discussion?
Can we make that contingent on getting the tax removed?
I don't think they can charge us tax. We'll just have to get them our certificate. So,
Okay.
yeah, I'm not worried about
Not
that.
anything that requires mention in the motion.
No, they just may not have our certificate on file. So Vicky will take care of that when she's back.
Yeah, this is the first time we've worked with them directly.
Good call out, but no, we should be good there. Any other discussion? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. That motion carries. And page 46 of your packet is the quote for hydrant valve and gate valve for the fire station.
So, while cleaning, for Easter, one of our valves that we use to shut the water on and off, on the south side and north side, in between our two bays, drive-through bays, we're leaking.
These kind of valves, or,
Well, okay, so the bottom one is a handle and you twist it and it's got a gate.
Yeah.
And it just drops down and blocks the water.
okay,
So the water's always on to that valve, but that's how it shuts off. That one was leaking. We took it off, tried to clean it out and see if there's anything, the seals and everything looked good, but it was leaking quite a bit. So I got a quote for that to replace that one, and then the other one is what would go on that one, on that south side. That actually is a lot slower to close and it will prevent any water damming, and it should last longer than what this Elkhart gate one would. So the Elkhart gate one will go in our hydrant bag as a option for when we have to draft off of a hydrant we can turn them on and off from the side ones. Instead of using just the main one, we can pull off the side ones at the same time. It's because right now we have, our backup one is also leaking. So-
So when you go to hydrant, you're pulling water both ways in?
Yeah, so we would pull off the large 5 inch.
Yep.
And then we put these valves on the side and you can then run lines off of that.
Multiple lines?
Yep.
Okay.
So the Elkhart gate valve would go in our hydrant bag for that specific reason. And then the TFT hydrant valve is one we already have on the north side, but they did install one on the south side, which makes it a lot easier and slower to close to resist any water hammering or any issues like that. And it's more of a, like a ball valve instead of a gate valve.
And when we spoke, do we just need the one of each?
One of each,
Okay,
yes.
okay.
Is what we'd be looking for.
Any other questions? I'd seek a motion to approve the quote from Hyman Fire for the hydrant valve and gate valve in the total amount of $1,170.
So
Moved by Myers, do I have a second?
Sure.
Second by Trum, any discussion? All those in favor say aye,
Aye.
opposed nay. Motion carries. Since we're talking about fire, that brings us to written reports, so Dan, Chief West. You don't think I did that on purpose?
No, that's
Yeah.
perfect. We talked a lot already about, with the quotes and items like that, so, we started doing our fit testing, which is our mask testing to make sure our face and the masks that we're using have proper seals. It's an annual testing that we do. It's free of charge. Systems provided by Lake County Public Health, so we just run it on our own. Let's see. Mac and Lee both helped, find the drainage system issue with the trench system that we talked about. We already talked about 135. Easter egg and fire grill was very successful. Had a lot of people come through, which was great. Already talked about the 911 board system that we use for that contract. And we're looking at next month having Hyman Fire come out to show us the new bunker gear that we budgeted for FY27 to start, make sure the department's okay with the decision that the officers have made so far with the setup and get it in the system to be ordered, because it takes 45 to 60 days to get it ordered. And that would put us ahead of the July 1 fiscal year order rush that they get. So everything will still be billed for FY27, but it will just be jumping ahead of the line a little bit on that. I would like to work with our engineering firm to make sure.
That's Ryan, by the
Yep.
way, with our engineering firm,
Ryan.
so.
To go over our bay floors. I know how, I talked before about it being super slick, and we need some sort of redoing of it, grinding it and putting it back together properly. But I wanna make sure we're thinking the same pathway, that it's not just something that I think that would work no matter what, so.
We're doing all the floors, right? Offices and everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the same thing goes with the concrete, landings by the front doors or by all the doors. From what I've been told earlier in the fall or later in the fall, the support, rebar only went to the entry side of, or entry of doors and not like the sides connecting it. So everything dropped.
Oh, so you got going in the door this and then these are down?
Yep. So, just kind of get some ideas on what fixes would look like and kind of go from there. None of that was budgeted for because we weren't sure what would need to be repaired for. So just would like to work with them on that.
Is that evident now, the drop? A lot of times that's intentional, like the concrete's meant to float a little bit, so
Yeah.
is that,
So it's,
is it evident now that we should look at it now and then again this summer when it might come back?
yeah, I think so. Looking at two different periods in time, because right now it's just hard for, especially on that south door, people trip on it a lot. But like for the handicap access, it's a little harder to get the wheelchairs up and over that. But it's not a huge lift, but just enough.
Might
to
just be that we
position.
want to bevel it rather than actually lift it, but yeah,
Yeah.
for you guys to look at it and see if it's intentional or if something got missed in the original.
Yep. And finally, we got a new applicant. I don't need any action on him at this point. His name's Trent Partridge. He lives just south of town here. And he's been a paramedic for about 3 years now, 4 years. Been in southern Iowa, and it's gonna be a good addition to us, hopefully. So everything works out. I'll come back in about 6 months with a request to have him approved or let you know that it wasn't a good fit.
Any questions for the chief? Thank you as always. The department's happy, so we appreciate you. All right, Public Works, page 48. Anything of note?
Couple things to add that happened this week. Street sweeping, they came through, I think it was Monday or Tuesday. Got that done for the spring, got all the sand off the roads. Roto-Rooter was able to seal up one of the manholes they discovered on our first round of televising that had some pretty severe infiltration. They got that taken care of today, and probably within an hour, it was very, very slick. There was a lot of water coming in that one, and yeah, they had it all sealed up good. So it's good to start picking away at those as we see them, especially with the out of season discharge again that we are started here this week. I explained that when I talked to the DNR that we're working on some of these because this is our third year in a row. She brought it up, our third discharge in a row out of season, and she's appreciative that the city is aware and making an effort to get rid of infiltration. I told her we're gonna do a capacity study, so she appreciated that. It's not just oh, it'll be fine, where the city's acknowledging that there's a problem with the infiltration, so they're very good on that.
Are you able to make notes on GIS, like when those things get sealed, so we kind of have a timeline?
Yeah, I put that in the maintenance note for them.
Beautiful. Thank you.
The sewer at the maintenance shop, I believe we won't know till we dig it up, but it looks like, based on the locates, that was fiber optic that got bored through our service line. I talked to USA Communications, and if it is theirs confirmed, they will handle the bill for that. So they recommended Hanley Dirt Works to do it, and he's coming hopefully next week, weather permitting, to do the lane clearing project anyway, so the excavator in town, so be going on that. Yeah, that was interesting to find. Backed up and then we augured it out and then decided to run a camera down it, and yeah, there's something going right to the middle of the pipe conduit.
Coming into her up, huh?
Yeah. And an infiltration coming in there because the pipe's broke. So there's groundwater coming in right there.
Mhm.
We're a culprit.
Other than that, that's all I have.
Anything for Matt? All right, thank you very much. Yeah, then you've got Vicky's report on page 49. She will be back for a couple of days next week before she heads out for IMFOA. So if you have anything, pass that over to her, shoot her an email, she'll get back to that.
Just a quick note on the report, there are some placeholders in the delinquent notice
Yeah.
on the report, where it just says XX accounts remain outstanding as of 4/3.
Yes, I don't know. She must have just not had a chance to fill those in. So we can get you updated. Next month, I'll have her put both on there. 'Cause
Yeah.
that is one of the audit findings, and that's what we've been trying to report it here. So we'll make sure it's on both. All right. Budget report or finance report, any questions there? Everything's looking good. Whole lot of negative numbers. That's what we like to see. All right. That brings us to our consent agenda. Do I have a motion to approve? Moved by Myers. Do I have a second?
So,
Second by West. One thing to note on the claims list is we did, at his request, you will see Iowa diesel repair on there for the repairs that you all just authorized. That way he can get that work done quickly and not have to wait until after our May meeting to get paid. So that is one that we'll make sure Vicky's aware because that got added after she submitted the claims report for. That is the only note on the consent agenda. So with that, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. All right, that is the end of our packet. Brings me to the mayor's report. Not much. We are meeting with Bolton Mank on the comprehensive plan, so that's going very well. We're actually a smidge ahead of schedule. Next steps on that, they'll get us a draft to review, us being myself and Mac and Vicky. We can share it with council as well. So we'll review the draft, and then they're putting together some talking points. I'm gonna go do some kind of road shows with our various local nonprofits, whether it be Lions Club or the foundation or whoever that might be, to make them aware of the project. And then we are planning a pop-up event to get public input at the car show because it draws such a wonderful crowd. So those are kind of the next steps with the comprehensive plan. We have officially have our new attorney on board. So I met with previous council and transferred anything that was open. I've yet to have a chance to connect with our new council. We're gonna try and hit up tomorrow. So that is the plan there, and we're gonna get some things rolling because we do have several outstanding items. I didn't just want to drop them in her inbox. I kind of wanted to give her a heads up first. So if we don't connect tomorrow, I'll just let her know that I'm gonna send her some emails and hopefully we can get rolling on that because we had several things outstanding. So that is that, and then we're welcoming aboard Bolton and Mank as our city engineer. So I did meet with Michelle a couple of weeks ago on the phase 2 of the city park with the pavilion. Still not quite sure what direction we want to go there, and one of that does require legal opinion on how we handle the bidding phase for that. So we'll kind of do that in hand. So Michelle's going to send me some talking points with the attorney as well. But Ryan, you're here. We should probably add something on the agenda for our. He walked in and I was like, we haven't had one in a while, so I didn't think about it. But yeah, anything you want to? I'll give you some of my time. So.
I don't have much to say. Nice to meet you guys. Excited to work with you. Just feel free to call whenever you need anything. Always have my phone on me, so.
Perfect. Well, we budgeted for a capacity plan for water and sewer in FY27, so would love to get that going. And then as Chief mentioned, the floors are either peeling or very slippery, so would love to look at a solution. Any recommendations you guys have for that? It's just a sealed concrete.
Okay.
And so it's.
Yeah, we'd have to take a look at it, but
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like stepping on ice when it's wet.
It's not
And
fun.
guess where there's a lot of water in a
Yeah.
fire station. So, it happens.
Not a good place for it.
Yeah, no. All right. I think that's all I have. I didn't formally prepare, so I do apologize for that, but yeah, things are cruising right along. So we got all the right people in the right places. Council comments. I'll start to my right. Councilor Trum,
Nothing.
Councilor Bosenberg,
Nothing.
Councilor Sukup.
No.
Councilor West,
Nothing at this time.
Councilor Myers.
Thanks to the fire department for the Easter egg hunt and grill. So that was a good time.
Cold and windy as is.
Hey, you know
No
what?
snow this year. so-
Those kids were too old to go hunting the eggs, so, you know, it wasn't too breezy inside.
There you go. You held down the chairs.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. That's the end of our agenda. Date and time of next meeting is May 14th, 2026 at 7 PM. That's our regular council meeting. You currently don't have plans for any specials. With that, I would seek a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Sukup. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by West. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carries. We are adjourned at 7:49 PM.